r/r credited by online comps. What did you think you were really good at until you saw someone who was actually really good at it? I thought I was pretty good at Tetris. People who saw me play were quite impressed. Then I started playing Tetris 99. Turns out I'm not that good. Skiing. Thought I was the quickest of the quick, craving perfect parallel lines, living my life on the edge. Nope, ski team whizzed by me when I thought I was going fast. Turns out, I'm just a buffoon on two planks now plowing around ungracefully. My dad likes gardening and loves his plumeria. He has about 30. He recently found a local plumeria club on Facebook and went to a meetup. He was the only one there with less than 100. My mother has stopped complaining about him having too many plumeria. I just picture your dad as that otter holding a little guitar meme. I'm a better whistler than maybe 98% of the population, but compared to a world-class whistler I sound like a corpse fart. Corpse fart is my new band name. I got dips. Ping pong. I made the mistake of playing an old guy that hangs out at one of the bars and he ducking wrecked me. It wasn't even close. He returned all of my best serves effortless and would put the craziest spin on all of his shots. He gave me good advice afterwards and told me I play too fast for my own good. I bought him a drink and shamefully went back to my friends. Me too. The guys in my dorm freshman year would play pretty darn competitive ping pong every single night. We all got really good and I was one of the best. I guess word got out that our dorm was a good place to play ping pong, so we started getting people come from all over campus. One night, this one guy came that absolutely dominated all of us. Balls flying like bananas, balls spinning sideways off the table. It was just ridiculous. I remember he beat me 21-4, and I played really well for myself. I had a friend who was an overall shitty dude, obnoxious, rude, selfish, and a big baby. Turns out he's incredible at video games, and also a good musician. He's made music that regularly got tens of thousands of views with no advertising and no connections. He won first a major US citywide Guitar Hero competition and has been Grandmaster on Overwatch. But again, dude was really self-centered and not in the I'm better than you way, but just like eats all the appetizers at a party or crashed parties or asked for stuff constantly when he was busy, borrowed things without asking, not stealing because he would bring them back. And specifically I remember sleeping over at his house as a kid and he wouldn't let me play any games with him. And when it was bedtime, he had me sleep on the floor and literally gave me his pants to cover up with as a blanket. Just really stupid, childish. Haven't spoken to him in years, but he would shred you in any game. I'm no expert, but your friend may have been autistic. Hiking. I honestly thought I'd be one Thomotherfica, cancelling my apartment and going into the big wide world of Scandinavia, Faroe and Iceland with only my backpack and sleeping outside. Then I met a guy who just came back from a 700-kilometer glacier hike at 40°C in Greenland, who came to Faroes just to recover. Sadly that guy became my partner and he had shown me in so many occasions of what my body is literally not able to endure that I had to readjust my whole self-image. I eat more chocolate now. Programming. Learned a lot in college and at my first job. I switched based on my skills, came to new company, met my senior who is incredibly talented and realized I have a long way to go. For a long time it was hard for me to even realize what separated a fantastic programmer from an adequate one. Even when I was working with other programmers, there are obviously some basic fundamentals. You need to know the quirks of the language you're working in and how to use it. You need an understanding of data and code structures and where they work best. You need to have a consistent and robust organizational structure to your code so that it's easy to expand the functionality of it later on. And you need to develop so many other small skills. Just getting to that point can take years of working in a language, but it always seemed like once you had a good grasp of those fundamentals, that was all there really was. You were essentially equipped to solve any problem you could understand as well as anyone else. Then later I actually met someone who I would consider a fantastic programmer, and it really is amazing the difference. It's not that they use extremely complex structures in their code, or that they write code which is somehow lean and simplified down to its fundamentals. More, it's just very efficient. Wherever possible they fall back onto some aspect of the language to make their job easier, and as a result are able to write high quality code which they tap out so quickly and consistently it almost seems like a train of thought. As well, they were just incredibly easy to talk to about the subject and had an explanation ready for every decision they'd made and why they thought it was best. It's really incredible just how skilled some people are. Math. I'm a theoretical physicist, and I always felt I was pretty good at math in undergrad. Then I met the professor I'm working for right now. One of my life goals is to become at least 3/4 as good at theoretical physics as he is. Then I met Ed Witten. Then I read some papers by Freeman Dyson. Damn. It's so crazy how high the math ceiling goes. You prove an elegant solution, then find a paper that does that plus uses that to prove 80 different things all in notation that is as foreign to me as Russian. Math is fun. Video games. Every time I find a game I feel like I'm really good at, I always find a close friend that's x100 better than me in that game. Bruh, Super Smash Bros. I always considered myself a proud prince of the first 3 games until I found out about the pro player community. It felt like being Zed from Surf's Up with new guys coming to the scene doing stuff I could never even come close to doing. Still hurts. See, competitive Smash Brothers is like not even the same game. I think I'm a pretty solid writer. Every now and then I read a novel that just makes me think, well, I love you, but also duck you a little bit. As a 23-year-old birder, it's humbling to be beside a retired 70-plus-year-old who can see birds where none seem to be and identify them. The human ability for subconscious pattern recognition is truly amazing. You'll get there, it just takes time. Drawing. I always think I'm good at it, not god level, my ego isn't that large. Then I take a look on DeviantArt and suddenly my world comes crashing down. Happens on a weekly basis at least lol. For every good piece of art you see there are 100 failed attempts you will never see. I have a binder full of the unfinished/failed pieces that will never see the light of day. Keep trying. I would love to hear answers to the inverse of this question, where someone didn't think much of their prowess, but turned out champions. When I was a kid my grandma bought me this globe toy and I played with it and learned states/countries and shit. 5th grade comes around and there's a geography B and I was like, oh, I have a globe and signed up. Crushed everybody. 1st place in the whole school. Got a medal. I peaked way too early. When I was in 5th grade, I didn't really have any friends, was bullied, picked last for sports, etc. At recess and at home, I started running because I wanted to be good at it. It went on for a few months, and I had convinced my little 10-year-old mind that I was a superb runner and super fast. One day in PE they basically had us race each other. I got put up against these twas popular girls that were best friends and I just knew that this was my moment and all my work was going to pay off and people will like me. Spoiler alert, they fucking smoke me. I learned to solve a Rubik's Cube and practiced until I could solve one in like 30 seconds. Then I saw a video of the world record at the time, which was like 4.9 seconds. That was pretty depressing for me. Hey, you're very likely still in the top 0.1% of people, if not better. Drawing and painting. A huge part of being an artist is the near constant beatings your confidence takes. I used to teach high school art, and those kids were amazing. They should have been teaching me. Props to you for being able to admit that students can be better. I've heard stories of teachers doing all they can to crush talent just because they are jealous. Fighting. I won a shit ton of amateur MMA bouts and a few professional, but then I met someone who beat the ducking breaks off of me for like 3 rounds and then choked my ass out. Turns out, I'm pretty okay at it, but I'm no world champion lol. I was on the wrestling team at a small high school. I was the captain of the team my senior year and was voted MVP. When I went to college, this Filipino guy on my floor says, "Hey, my brother wrestles. Do you want to wrestle him?" He wasn't too big, so I said okay. Word travels fast. The whole floor comes and watches. This guy was so fast, it was over in seconds. We did 3 matches and the whole thing lasted like 1 minute. Having X with my wife. I too thought I was good at having X with this guy's wife. I've come to the realization that I'm very mediocre at a lot of things. I can do most anything, just not well. Avoiding work. I thought I was good at it. Then I had kids. They are a whole nother level of work avoidance. Playing piano. There's so much competition, and there's always an Asian kid 93,832x better than you. I practice every day, and have been playing for 10 years and up. I was that Asian kid, both piano and violin. Don't worry, even we have our own the other Asian kid that's even better. Okay, I'll jump in. In my late 20s I had never lost a single game of Scrabble in my life. I have a pretty large vocabulary and a talent for pattern matching, so I was always able to come up with very long words and find high bonuses to place them on. The true Scrabble players are already laughing at me. Well, I was looking for something to do with my time, and decided to try the local Scrabble club. I'll cut to the chase. I didn't win a single game. I didn't even present a challenge to a single player there. Several of them got annoyed at having to match up with someone as bad at Scrabble as me. I left that night deeply humiliated, but amazed. I never went back. What I learned that night is that championship Scrabble players do not bother hunting for 150-point mega score words. No, they kick your ass by placing 3 tiles that cross-connect to form 5 different words, 3 of which are 2-letter words, and all of which somehow share the same triple word score tile, even though only 2 words can possibly use it. And they score like 226 points by laying down those 3 tiles. It's incredible. It's as much art as science. So I learned a lot about humility from that one. Please subscribe and like the video to let this doggo reach his pup of gold. I repeat, pup of gold, ha 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 ha. Also, leave a comment on what you think about the video. And as always, care about yourself and your mental health.